You walk into a Rolex boutique ready to spend $10,000, but they tell you,
Sorry, we don't have this model in stock right now. You can leave your order, and after some time, they will be delivered. On average, it takes 12 to 24 months.
Rolex. This is not just a watch. It is a currency, a symbol recognized without words in any corner of the globe, an object of desire for which people are willing to wait for years and pay double the official price. But how? How did a piece of metal and sapphire crystal, designed simply to tell time, transform into one of the most powerful status and financial instruments in the world? The answer is more complex than just quality or advertising. It's a brilliant formula, perfected over decades, and today we're going to break it down. This is the story of how Rolex made the world believe that their watches are more than just watches. This is eternity on your wrist. Let's start with the biggest misconception. Many think Rolexes are so expensive because they are difficult to produce and there are few of them. That's only half the truth. Annually, the Rolex manufacturer produces about 1 million watches. They could easily produce 1.5 or 2 million, but they don't. This is the first and most crucial component of the formula: managed artificial scarcity. Rolex deliberately creates demand that far exceeds supply. When you walk into an authorized boutique, you're not just buying a watch, you're joining a club. You have to prove your loyalty, often by first buying less popular models. You wait. This process of waiting and earning the right to purchase turns the transaction into a ritual, a privilege. This, in turn, gives rise to the gray market, where the same watches are immediately sold at a premium of 50, 100, and sometimes 200%. And this gray market, paradoxically, works for Rolex. It serves as a daily confirmation of their incredible value. A watch you buy for $15,000 might be worth $30,000 tomorrow. This creates an aura of absolute liquidity and desirability around the brand. But the scarcity game would be impossible without the second component: fanatical, almost insane quality control. A Rolex is a fortress on your wrist, and that's not a metaphor. Let's start with the steel. Most luxury brands use 316L steel. Rolex uses 904L steel, which they call oyster steel. This steel is used in the aerospace and chemical industries. It is significantly more corrosion resistant and polishes to an incredible shine. But it is much harder to work with, requiring unique equipment. Rolex is the only watch brand that has gone to such lengths. Next, gold. Rolex has its own secret foundry. They don't buy gold, they create it. Their patented Everose pink gold contains platinum to ensure it never loses its hue. It's an alchemical process, completely controlled within the company. Every movement undergoes double testing. First, it receives the official COSC chronometer certificate, which allows for a deviation of -4 to +6 seconds per day. Rolex considers this insufficient. After receiving the COSC certificate, they test the watch again, once fully assembled, achieving an accuracy of -2 to +2 seconds per day. This is their own superlative chronometer standard. Finally, they have their own science labs with electron microscopes and gas chromatographs. They have entire departments for stress tests, where robots simulate decades of wear, subjecting the watches to shocks, vibrations, and high-pressure water immersion. Every Rolex is built to outlive its owner, and that is not a marketing slogan, but an engineering reality. The third component is marketing that sells not a watch, but a legend. Rolex brilliantly understood this early on. They don't sponsor events. They become their silent witnesses and participants. In 1927, swimmer Mercedes Gleitze crossed the English Channel. A Rolex oyster watch hung around her neck. After 10 hours in icy water, the watch worked perfectly. The next day, Rolex bought the front page of the Daily Mail, not to advertise, but to celebrate this achievement. In 1953, Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay conquered Everest. On their wrists were Rolex Oyster Perpetuals, the predecessors to the Explorer model. The watches withstood extreme temperatures and pressure. Sean Connery as James Bond wore a Rolex Submariner. Pan Am pilots used the Rolex GMT Master to track time in 2 time zones. More recently, director James Cameron descended to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Attached to his submersible's robotic arm was an experimental Rolex Deep Sea Challenge watch. It withstood pressure that could crush steel. Rolex doesn't say, "Our watches are reliable." It shows, "Our watches were there when history was made." When you buy a Rolex, you're not just acquiring an accessory. You're buying a piece of these legends. And finally, the fourth component that closes the loop: investment. A Rolex is one of the few luxury items that appreciates in value over time rather than depreciating. Your new car loses 10% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. Your Rolex, bought at retail price, begins to be worth more that very same moment. It's not just a purchase, it's a deposit into a wearable bank account. Some vintage models become the holy grail for collectors. The famous Paul Newman Daytona, owned by actor Paul Newman, was sold at auction for a record $17.8 million. This is, of course, an extreme case, but it illustrates the principle. In a world of financial instability, a Rolex is perceived as a safe haven, a reliable asset you can wear on your wrist. This investment appeal is the result of the 3 previous factors. Scarcity ensures demand will always be high, quality ensures the watch will last forever, and the legend ensures the brand will never go out of style. So, what is a Rolex? It's a perfect storm. A product whose value is created not only in the factory, but also in the minds of millions. Artificial scarcity that generates hype. Fanatical quality that justifies the price. Legendary marketing that creates an immortal aura, and investment stability that turns an expense into a wise placement of funds. All of this combined creates the Rolex phenomenon. So, is it the greatest marketing move in history? Or is it truly the perfect watch? Perhaps the correct answer is that one is impossible without the other, and therein lies its greatest secret. In a world where technology changes every year, where smartwatches can do everything from measuring your heart rate to answering a call, why would you need a mechanical anachronism? But Rolex doesn't sell functionality. It sells permanence, history, craftsmanship you can touch. In a world of digital ephemerality, it offers something real, eternal. Its real smart function is not to measure time, but to transfer it from generation to generation. As a reminder of those who came before us, and as a promise to those who will come after.